Felt like a celebrity out here. Thanks for this fantastic introductions as such. Yeah, I'm Ninad and I represent Gupshup. I take care of the sales part of enterprise customer business out here. I'm pretty excited to, yeah, thank you so much. Pretty excited to be here. Thanks for the organizers to invite me and talk about future-proofing CX conversational engagement. This is an interesting topic, and thanks for the panel to set the tone out here. Uh, Here today, I'm going to cover some of the important aspects as to why conversational messaging or engagement for customer experience is so very important. And in terms of where the future lies for conversational messaging, why customers are preferring conversations as an interaction for every of their transactional elements as well as for the queries, for their product discoveries with the brands and businesses as such. And what are the future possibilities for businesses to build conversational layer for every journey which the consumer goes through, whether it is going to be commerce or it is going to be marketing or it is going to be support, and how you can transform the CX with the conversational messaging as such, right? As you know, the pandemic has really expedited and accelerated the overall digitization across globe. There have been very few industries or very few companies which haven't gone through the overall digital transformation as such. It has been last 3 years, there has been a significant change in terms of how the consumers have been interacting with the businesses. As per McKinsey, there is more than 55% of overall overall interactions which are happening with the businesses are digital in nature. And the overall digital journey of any business towards transformation has taken a shape in last 3 years, which was unprecedented and unwitnessed earlier. But while we talk about overall consumer experience and the overall digital interactions with the brand and businesses, the overall journey right from discovery of product to an extent of consideration or making a purchase or getting a support queries resolved, it's completely broken. If you look at the journey starts with product discovery with a mobile search, and then the user is been landed on a web page which is so very complex for him to navigate through. Or in most cases, these days now, the user is asked to download an application, which is like a tremendous task and burden on the real estate which is there being used by the consumer on mobile device, right? Beyond that, once the consumer is there on discovering various product, one needs to browse through the heavy catalog which is available on that particular app or on that particular site. And in case if the consumer has got any queries, question, there's no one to answer, right? There's no one to fulfill that particular query then in itself. More than that, the entire checkout process, if you look at it, barring maybe a few evolved platforms, the entire checkout process asks for so many details in terms of how the transaction is supposed to take shape. And then there is like a massive amount of effort which is required to make the payment. And beyond that, if you look at the tier 2, tier 3 towns, which are far more evolving in terms of doing digital transaction, getting e-commerce transactions done, because they don't find products availability within their own cities or their towns. Here we are expecting them to interact with an English website, English app, and then subsequently there is a support team from these respective platforms to interact with them, not in local languages, or there is a language capability which is missing. Entire of these set of barriers and problems, conversational messaging can really address and solve to the greatest extent possible, I would say. Today, the consumer can start the journey in terms of discovering the product right within the messaging app in itself. He can discover the product via the deals or offers which have been pushed across to him or her by the brand or the business within the messaging app itself. Today, there is a possibility for a product discovery and catalog browsing within the messaging app, which was not the case earlier, right? So future forward, we are talking about so much of engagement which is happening by the consumer with the brand within the kind of product offerings and service offering which is available can be really engaged on a conversational platform, which could be a messaging channel in itself. The purchase journeys are far more seamless out here with the advent of WhatsApp Pay, which you are going to see it very soon now. the one-click bill pay or one-click transaction could naturally happen within the messaging app itself. And obviously, the support part of multilingual capabilities which exist within a messaging app, which is far more seamless for any user to interact with the brand in a manner which is required and preferred preference as per his own language. One needs to see as to how things have evolved over a period of time, right? The entire journey of customer experience and various platforms through which the consumers have gone through in last few decades has been very interesting, right? While we talked about, or while some of you, like me, we have witnessed 90s era where desktops were so very prominent and the consumer experience was so very trivial at that particular point in time. Then came in the advent of web proliferation, where millions of websites were created for consumers to flock onto and discover new things, be it information or be it product or service which are built on for businesses to project it as project it for purchases or availment. But with the advent of evolution of smartphones, dynamics changed, right? The consumer experience changed very, very differently out here, where the platforms became very native in nature, where the smartphones allowed developers to build native apps for users to get greater experience. While this was taking shape, what typically evolved over a period of last 6 to 7 years is the messaging apps. At Gupshup, we believe that entire of the customer transaction and interaction and engagement is converging into messaging apps directly. There are ways and means with which a brand could really engage with the consumer throughout his pre-purchase, post-purchase, and the purchase journey within the messaging app in itself. Thanks to WhatsApp, thanks to Facebook Messenger and Instagram, which saw massive amount of growth within consumer adoption. And that's where the consumers are flocking, right? Today, consumer wants their communication to be, with the business to be very interactive, very responsive, and it needs to be personalized. And 91% of the consumers, they feel that if they connect with the brand, that there's a high likelihood that they will be able to build relationship with the brand out here. Messaging apps are where the consumers are, and brands are required to be there on these messaging apps to make sure that they are giving right kind of experience to the consumer across board within all the possible journeys which are required to be met with the consumer per se. Statistics says that there are more than 175 million users which are interacting on day-to-day basis on messaging app like say WhatsApp with a business messaging account of any of the brand. There are like 2 billion plus users worldwide which are almost daily active, like 90% of them are, 70% of them are daily active out here. 90% of the users which are on Instagram, they are following at least one brand. So it is so very important for brands which are there in B2C domain or in that particular segment to make sure that the presence is there, which is strong enough. At the same time, they are giving the right kind of experience to the consumers out here. So with these set of elements in messaging, where it has become so very prominent and important for brands to engage with the consumers for various purposes. It is across industries where the brand is supposed to, or business is supposed to communicate with the customer for various purposes, whether it is going to be verifying the user by sending an OTP, or it could be a simple update or alert which needs to be notified to the user, or it could be a transactional reminder which is required to be sent out to the user. And it requires to have real time and 24/7 because consumers are flocking onto messaging channels throughout the time period which is required. So there is a, it has become virtually every customer touch point becoming and getting transformed as conversational messaging in itself, with conversational messaging in itself. And brands are required to build automated chatbots and voice bots because they are slowly becoming the storefront for the users to interact, buy, and then meet their specific set of queries. So it is compelling for the businesses and brands to build a massive amount of effort and build intelligent chatbots and be where their consumers are on messaging apps. At Gupshup, we are the leading conversational engagement platform. We are number one in terms of overall conversational engagement, which is happening in the geography that we stay in. We account for almost 75% of overall messaging which happens on IP messaging channels. We deal with more than 45,000 customers out here on day-to-day basis, and we deliver more than 9 billion messages per month. Almost like one third of it is on IP messaging channel. We enable all this through single omni-channel API, which is helping us to interact, engage with some of the leading brands and leading businesses across multiple industries, whether it is BFSI or it could be e-commerce or it could be hospitality industry or retail for that matter. We enable most of the brands and businesses to help them get their products and services discovered over IP messaging channels like WhatsApp, leveraging WhatsApp Business API and Instagram Business API for them to interact and engage with the customer, make sure that there are new product launches which are being discovered by the consumers on an ongoing basis. We help them build personalized online stores on messaging app in itself, which is so very innovative and so very important in today's world. And obviously, to say the least, the support aspect, which is so very important for every business to really engage with the consumer to create the right kind of satisfaction, fulfilling all their queries and all their questions which are post-purchase related, whether it is transaction which has been failed or whether there is a delivery which is on the way, or it could be a transaction reminder which is required to be given out to the consumers as such. So we cut across all sort of application across industry for functions which could be alert mechanism right from credit card application to an extent of offering a loan, or it could be a sale event which needs to be promoted on IP messaging channel like WhatsApp or Instagram for that matter, or it could be reminder of the insurance premium which is due, or the EMI which is supposed to be paid out, or it could be a personalized travel package which is required to be done. All this could be possible as of today on IP messaging channel through intelligent bots that we built out and make it available for the consumers. Some of the case studies I would want to quote it here. The leading brand which is Lakme Salon in wellness space, what they have been leveraging Gupshup platform and WhatsApp Business API through the chatbot deployment that we have done it for them is primarily there for notification and on-demand customer support. They have seen massive amount of increase in terms of the overall engagement, which was not seen earlier. 1.5 times engagement, they could witness it in recent times. They could reduce the overall support calls by 56%. So earlier they used to get like so many people, so many consumer of them for trivial questions and even complex queries. Now today they work with a very thin line team in terms of support, and entire of this conversation is driven via WhatsApp as a channel out here, and all the queries are being fulfilled. And not to just to quote it, there is a online beautician chat also which is pretty much available. With this, they have increased their overall appointment booking by 2x so far. Another success story that we have built with Doubtnut, which is a edtech company, and it is at scale. Their problem statement was how do they increase the engagement of students and learners by fulfilling their questions and giving them answer instantly. Here, WhatsApp Business API could leverage upon, they could leverage upon by opening this particular channel by asking users or learners or students to post picture of the question within WhatsApp channel itself, and they could we could do AML based discovery of that particular question and figure out the right kind of answer options and quickly send it back to the users. This led to a massive amount of growth within the engagement with the learners as well as the overall ROI for Doubtnut. No Brokers has been an interesting case where their real estate listing by the owner, which used to take like 3 days to get the listing approved. Here they could do it in like less than 1 hour now with the help of WhatsApp Business API, where the owners of the property could post the pictures within WhatsApp channel to them, and their system would be able to verify those details and push that particular listing towards approval stage. They've seen massive amount of growth in terms of overall ROI, like 20x what they could witness in recent times, and their property listings have increased to almost like 3x times. I would like to show you a demo instead of showing you the screen in the interest of time. Can we have the video, please? So this is about Meluka Honey, which is a leading organic brand in Australia, which we have deployed the entire WhatsApp.
I'm going to run through a quick demo showing WhatsApp
my
commerce,
colleague Chris,
specifically for a company called Meluka Australia and their honey product. So the first thing they want to do is generate new customers. They're doing that where from their website you can specifically go into a WhatsApp commerce experience. So I can click directly on this. Up it will come and brings up WhatsApp commerce right here. So from here, what they've got the ability to be able to do is engage with their customer as well as be able to do the complete shopping experience in here. So let's have a look. So firstly, I'm going to come in here, I'm going to click on the shop now right here. And clicking on shop now, what that's going to do is it will go off and be able to bring up all of the items that they've got on their Shopify account. So let's have a look here. I'm going to hit click browse. I can see everything that they've got. I'm going to pick raw honey right here. Click go. And again, it's doing a live query where everything that's currently available and active on their system is going to directly come up here. Showing on the view items, in WhatsApp, I can see all the items that they've got and be able to scroll through. Let's pick the raw honey probiotic. I can message the business to be able to have a real human engagement, or I can say, add that to my cart. In adding it to my cart, up the top here is the shopping cart. Everyone's WhatsApp has this capability already enabled. So I can see the shopping cart, I can change the number of items that I may want, be able to add more items.
Yeah, in the interest of time, just to brief you, that the entire commerce journey could be achieved via WhatsApp as a channel in itself, which has been deployed, and there are more brands which are adopting to this, right from discovery of the product, browsing catalog, and then purchasing that particular product within WhatsApp itself. We are here to transform your business with conversational messaging. In fact, we help help you engage with your customer one-on-one at scale. We can build a lot of journeys right from commerce to pre-purchase to support journeys across board. And this can happen at scale. We have a booth here, happy to answer your questions at the booth, or we'll be able to address here itself in case if you have any queries or question on what I've presented. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, a huge, huge round of applause, please, for Ninad. Thank you so much for joining us today.